Hello, good morning and good evening, everybody, and welcome to a special edition of the Uncoder with Shivkumar, honestly a legend in the making here in the Uncork world of creators. He is a former power user spotlighter. Still, I mean, it's not former. You're still a power user spotlight. He's a power user. We've spotlighted him before. He was runner-up in our latest hackathon. So once again, everyone say hello, and Shivkumar, say hello to everybody.
Hello, Nick. Yeah. First of all, thank you for having me here. And hello, everyone. So, my name is Shivkumar Hemke. I'm software engineer at Marsh McLennan. I have been working on Uncoder since last 2 years, and I am certified professional configurator as well as Uncoder subject matter expert.
Wow. So tell us about. I know you. We probably covered this when Danny's on before. Tell us a little more about that subject matter expert side of it, or how did you get both of those certifications? Why don't you tell me that? Tell us that.
So, professional configurator. So, there was a path in the Uncork Academy. So, I have completed that one, and after that, I applied for certification. So, there was one proctor based examination. So, where we have MCQ based question as well as the practical based question. So, after clearing that, I got the professional configurator certification. And for SME, I have been active member on the Uncork community. So consecutively scoring more than 200 points and solving more than 20 questions got me the SME badge.
Got it. Awesome. Well, I'm not even a certified SME, so I'm honored to be in the presence of a certified SME from our community. So yeah, for all the creators out there, definitely look at Academy and get certifications that are of interest to you, and then yeah, be an active part of the community and get acknowledged as Shivkumar has in so many ways. So great. So you said you've been working on Uncork for what do you say, 2 years now?
Yes, now
Wow,
it's been more than 2 years.
it's been more than 2 years. So what were you doing before you started working with Uncork?
So before working with Uncork, I have worked on different technologies like I have worked on Angular, .NET, I have worked with microservices, Microsoft Azure, JavaScript as well as OutSystems.
Okay, so you had some
So
experience with some code, some experience with some low code.
yes,
Uh,
so mostly I have worked on the API and the backend part before Uncork.
cool. And then what? How did that experience? How did that lead to Uncork? How did that help you kind of like get into Uncork? Do you see it, working its way into your thought processes when you're building with Uncork?
So to answer that, maybe basically I'm software engineer at root. So whatever I have learned throughout the journey of my IT, so I've learned building an application. So that might be through the software development life cycle, agile practices, building the APIs, UI, database, everything. So that's the same thing that we do here in the Uncork. So we learn. So the only difference is that we don't need to learn and expertise all the technologies. We just learn Uncork and we start building applications. So
Right.
that's
Yeah, that's great. So it's a little bit of the design principles of APIs and things like that. But you mentioned also just like SDLC and Agile, and a lot of it is still just the practice and the methodologies and the process more than it is even the
yes,
technology. Because like you said, Uncore kind of takes away all the technologies, right? Or a lot of them.
yes,
Yeah. And just focus on because sure, you can be given the greatest tool in the world, but if you don't have the right process, you don't have the right team, it's going to fail, right? Probably. So cool. All right. So now you've been working with Uncork for 2.5 years. I'm sure you've seen the platform change and grow a lot in those 2.5, probably getting close to 3 years. What are some of the things that you've really seen appear in the platform in the time you've been working on it that have really changed the way that you build and you really enjoy?
sorry, your voice break in between. Can you repeat?
Sure. Yeah. No, I was just saying, it's been you said 2.5, almost 3 years you've been working with Uncork. I'm sure you've seen a lot of new features and capabilities come into the platform. Over the time that you've been working in Uncork, what are some of those features that you've really enjoyed us adding and then has really changed how you build with Uncork? Or just what's your favorite stuff about Uncork?
Okay,
Keep it easy.
uh, so the okay, so my most favorite stuff is I've been the same stuff that I have been talking in my Spotlight series too. So Uncork doesn't need any kind of setup to just start it. So even if my PC is crashed today, I can just log into another PC and have access to the environment and just use my appropriate credentials, and I can start going on without any interruption. So that's the most favorite part. Then the second on the second list of my favorite thing is the RBAC, so role based access control. So that lets you allow build multiple personas with very ease, and you can manage your application with very ease through this role based access control. Then there are multiple things. So there's the Uncork marketplace snippet too. So you have multiple snippet for very famous features like sendgrid, loops, carousel. So you can just drag and drop this and make a small change, and you are all set to use those functionalities. So I have used this in my hackathon application too. So that helps speed up my process for building this application.
Yeah.
And definitely, uh, last but the very important, the Uncork community. So I'm definitely the active user of Uncork community, and you see whatever you have the query, you get answers over there, and you see your different ways and cool ways to implement things
Yeah.
through that Uncork community.
Yeah, that's huge. So one, I mean, I love it. So just right, you have a problem with your laptop. Everything's web based. It all is stored kind of in that central repository there. You can log in from anywhere, and you don't lose any work on your machine. You don't have to reset up any environment. So that's always been a problem for engineers and developers. Getting that. Even as we've made things simpler with scripts that will build your setup. There's always a difference of OS X version or Windows version,
Yes.
whatever OS you're on, and you can have some slightly different package. And they've been trying to solve that problem forever. And it sounds like you think Uncork is just the approach that Uncork provides really just solves that. So that's great to hear. And then RBACs, like you said, you work at you're working for Marsh, right? So like, sure,
Yes.
RBAC is extremely important. Tell people a little more about like we can't maybe talk too detailed about Marsh's work, but in their industries, I imagine RBAC is extremely important in security.
Okay, so maybe I can a bit explain about how we use the RBAC with a simple example.
Yeah,
Maybe so,
great.
my hackathon application, so happy hour result. So I have a user application as well as the admin application. So I don't want users to access the admin application. So right there, the role based access control comes into the picture, and we can restrict the access for admin application to only the administrator, the person with that administrator access. So when you have multiple personas, like when you have user, when you have some private user, or when you have some verified user, so you can differentiate those personas, and you can give access as per the personas to your application.
Got it.
So that's how the RBAC works.
Okay, cool. Well, hey, all right. So you mentioned the happy hour resort. I'm in happy hour resort mode right now, even though I'm drinking some coffee and not a pina colada. I'm still very much in happy hour mode. So why don't we dig in? So one of the focuses here we wanted to do is we wanted to just say hello, and then we wanted to talk about your hackathon, which really just felt like a real resort website. So let's bring it up and let's dig through and let's go over maybe the RBAC and anything else you kind of want to point out about your application.
Yeah, sure. So let me know if you can when you can see my screen.
It's looking good on my end.
Okay, so you're able to see the
Yep.
application, right?
Yep.
Okay, so this is a complete web application for a resort.
Oh, the
So
one thing you
this
might
has
just want to click, sorry, you see it says StreamYard is sharing your screen. You might just want to hit hide there. Get that out of the way.
oh okay.
Yeah, just click hide. There we go. Now you're looking real good.
Okay. So this is a complete web application for resort. So it has two parts. One is the user customer facing, that is the user application, and another is admin application. So with user application, you have multiple functionalities, like you can do 1 day booking, you can book the room for stay, you can view the reviews, and you can add the reviews, and you can get details of all these packages over the email. And so all the data that you see over the user application, that can be managed through the admin application. So you can manage the room details, the booking details, the 1 day booking details, and the inquiry details. So this is in short about the application.
Awesome. So first off, I know this is not good. This is going to be CSS, I imagine, or something. This animation of "Welcome to Happy Hour Resort." How does that? How
Yes.
does that?
Okay.
That's like pretty weird coloring. I like it. How'd that all?
Okay. So I have used advanced CSS and the animation for this. So the first part that you see in the content component. So this is the HTML tag.
Yep.
This is the property ID that I have taken from this HTML element, and I have been applying CSS on this. So if you see over here, so I have used keyframes. So this is again CSS animation part. And if you see animation, I have given this as a text clip. This happens for 2 seconds. So that's what it takes time for moving it, 1 to 2 seconds.
Okay.
And this goes in infinite linear and infinite loop.
Infinite loop.
And the color changes that you see now, the color changes from when within this 2 second the color changes. So that's here the back. This is the background image with minus 25-degree rotation
Yeah.
and with percentage. So with 0% there's a different color, with 67% there's different color. So how this color changes, and it looks like this is a moving text.
Yeah. Awesome. Like CSS has gotten so crazy what you can do just with CSS nowadays.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Which is great because again, it's still, some people sometimes look at CSS and they get a little scared. But it's still that great means like that welcome to Happy Hour Resort is still part of your configuration. CSS is just layered on top. You take the CSS
Yes.
away, it's still going to say welcome to Happy Hour config, welcome to Happy Hour Resort. So still very codeless, but also very cool.
Yes.
Yeah, awesome.
So the next is a carousel that you see here. So we have this carousel in the snippet too. Yeah, you see this is over the snippet. So you can just drag and drop this and make the minor changes as per you want. So
Yeah, it's funny. The carousel snippet is it's
yes,
a big hit for these hackathons. Every hackathon, everyone loves using the carousel.
yeah, this is very easy to build and it looks very
Yeah.
nice thing.
Have you ever used it in like a real configuration or more just hackathon fun configurations?
Oh yeah, I've used it with
You use this?
bootstrap
Okay, good.
cards and
Right.
yes.
Good. I'm glad it's not just. I mean, I'm happy you're using it for fun stuff, but glad we're using it for other stuff too. So this is the config of the carousel.
Oh yes. So this is the data table that I maintain. So the images that you see over here. So I have moved these images in the assets. So maybe I can show that really quick. So for in administration, you have this manage asset administration, and here. So here I have pasted all these images, and I have been using those images from here, from assets, SSH folder, and these are the images. So I
Ooh,
have,
that's the SSH folder. That sounds it sounds very secretive.
oh no, that's just a short form of my name.
You're yeah. Ah, but like there's like the SSH folder for like secure login and stuff, secure
Yeah.
shell. Yeah, you got a cool acronym or cool initials.
So this value A will be the image, the value B and value C will be the heading and the short description that you see here.
Gotcha.
And so initially so we will calculate the carousel length, and we'll have the two indexes. One is the future index and one will be the carousel index. So both will be initially will be set to 0. And then when we have one more data table just to store entry for the current record, like value A, value B, C with the current index. So whatever the carousel index. So this will be used to merge. Let me open up this data workflow. Then it might give us a more detailed and clear picture why we use that. Okay. So first we check the carousel index with the future index. So we check if this is equal or not. If this is equal, that means we don't need to iterate for now. So at the very start of the loading of the screen,
Hmm.
let's debug it at the same time. So if you see the carousel index and the future index, both are at the 0,
Yeah.
and this is the data. This is the DT carousel array that you see. So we have this DT carousel array and the DT save table, and we just convert that index to the number so that we can merge it after that.
Okay.
And then there's a merge to get that correct. So we merge with the current index. So now the index is 0. So we just merge this both the data tables and we get this record.
Right.
And after that we have an input switch down based on the, if the condition is true we take the first input port, if the condition is false we will be taking input as the second input port. So whatever the result comes into, either it comes from this merge or this DT carousel array. And now, so next is we just get that index and we store it in this selected carousel row. So this is how we get the
Yeah.
current row. So this is the index 0. This is the image for
Yeah.
dance hall, and the so
It.
I'll just clear this,
Yeah. And then there it
and
goes.
at the next time the future index becomes 1, and we can merge as expected, and we get selected row the next record.
Gotcha. So it's kind of like the for loop snippet, but it's a manual loop, right? Like it
Yes.
felt very similar. Like it's an array of objects. You're going to take a certain index, whereas in the looping, it typically just loops itself. This is kind of like a manual looping process almost.
Yes. So there's one more interesting part here. So once you come to the last index and now you need to go to the first index. So there's a simple logic, but a quite interesting one. So we, for carousel future index, we take two one. The one is the current index and the length of the this carousel,
Yep.
and then we just check if the current index plus one is greater than the length. Okay, let me show this with the unit test.
Hey, I love this.
So suppose the now carousel length will be always 4, and we'll start with the 0th index.
Yep.
Yeah. So that the next future index will be obviously 1. So it will be the same whenever till we go to the 2. But now when we are at the third index, that means we are at the last index. And now we run, the next future index becomes the 0. So that's how we'll end up to the, and this displays nothing but the current index plus 1. That's
Right.
the 0 plus 1. Yes. Just for display purpose.
Makes sense. Makes sense. And it's I know I think a lot of folks here, you were familiar with the zero if index concept when we came to Uncork, right? That like the first one is
Yes.
0. That always throws people for a loop. They like that pun. So
Yes. You always begin I equal to 0.
I equals 0. Yep. Cool.
Yeah. So this is about the carousel. And then moving to the next part. So we have the footer over here. And so I have added some font awesome icons. So if you see this for Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter,
Hmm.
and for contact us. And this one I have used as href to mail to. So what will happen whenever I will click on this email ID,
Yeah.
and email will get opened with the pre-populated that email address, and you can just contact us through this
Got
email.
it. Yeah, I loved the footer. Like I remember the first time I looked at your project, I loved the footer. It just made it feel, it was like a little touch that you added that made it feel like a real resort, right? Like any resort's gonna have their social handles and icons at the bottom. You're gonna have the context stuff. It was like, forget all the awesome functionality you're gonna show us. I just loved that you took the time and had the attention to detail to add those little touches. That was so cool. But watch out
Thank
putting
you.
L2 links on your website, because then if this site goes live to the public, bots are going to scrape that email address, and you're going to get a lot of junk mail. Watch out.
Okay. So should we move to the next page?
Yeah, please move on. This is great.
Yeah. So the next page is 1-day package. So where we have an option to confirm your booking for 1-day package. So this is a normal form. So I'll just have some entry. And so here, let me open up the page too.
Look at you with your well-organized modules. I like that.
Yes, I use tagging just to
So
have
you
my
have
list of sorted too.
admin. I assume admin's your other tag there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I have admin pages, so I can see only the admin models.
That's smart stuff there, people. That's good organizational techniques. It'll help you in later as you're building.
Okay, so for phone number, I have used uniform grid, and I have used uniform grid because there can be multiple phone numbers I need to add. So I can add as many as I want. If I have used the uniform grid, and that gives you flexibility to add as many rows as you want. When the rows are dynamic, it can be one phone number, two phone number, or multiple phone numbers. So at that time, so for that functionality, I have used the uniform grid.
Mm-hmm.
I just enter the cost, and let's have the network tab open. And so when I click on the confirm, and now see I have entered two phone numbers. So yeah, booking is confirmed, and yeah, so the phone numbers, what I do, I just fetch the list of the phone numbers that from the uniform grid, and I make it as a comma separated string, and I pass it to the schema submission, so that if I see the admin application, I see the records like this.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I use simple data workflow to do this. So I have taken the uniform grid as an input. I have picked the phone number. I have just made it a column to array and joined it with a comma and stored it in the hidden field, and that hidden field is passed to the plugin submission.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
Yeah. And after this, once this booking is confirmed, I have this send grid email snippet that again you can get that one in the local snippet. Yeah, you see the send grid. So I have modified this as per my requirement, and whenever I do a booking, I get an confirmation email. So you see, this is the booking confirmation email that we have received. So it comes with some stuff, and it comes with the date, the dynamic date, that whatever the date we select on the application.
Yep.
So booking confirmation for.
It's a busy day. You got breakfast, you got swimming pools, you got zip lining.
Yes.
There's Biggest busy day.
Yeah, this is all on the 1 day package. Let's go to the next page. Yeah, so this is a stay package page, and now you will see here the rooms based on the selected date. So suppose I select today's date, and again, so we don't allow any past dates. So
Mm-hmm.
we don't allow any past dates, so that booking cannot be done for the past date. It can be done for today or future date. So you have that setting available. Let me show. So yeah, so data restrictions you can keep it to future only.
Mm-hmm.
So that will not allow you to enter select any past date.
Yeah.
So this was what the requirement for me. So I
Yep.
won't be able to select any and do any booking for the past date.
Yeah. Can you go back to the date component for a second? Your config.
Yes.
And scroll up a little bit. I noticed that you also have store date only checked, which is
Yes.
great.
Yes.
And I
Because
wanted
don't
to call this out because I feel like some people get tripped up by not doing this. So for folks who aren't familiar with this setting, well, why don't you tell folks what the difference is with and without that checkbox and why you checked it?
If you don't check it, you will also have the timestamp, but I don't want the timestamp to be appended with my date input. So I just want the date to have it and store it in my schema. So that's why I've checked it to have only the date, not the time and the timestamp.
Right. So no timestamp, because then you're going to start getting into time zone things, because then the browsers convert the time zone based on the time, which could result in it actually being a different date, depending on where you are. But so yeah, really smart setting to use when you only really need the date.
And now, okay, so let me just go ahead and
So one question as you're kind of going through and booking this room, how did you store the room information that's in that grid right now? You're going to get there?
Yes, I'm going to get there. So first I'll show you this. So whatever the room that I select and whatever the date is selected. So date is today's 13, and I just click on the 101, and all this data gets pre-populated, the room number that I have selected and the selected date. So I can just enter the name, contact again. So this, we have one more setting over here. This is very cute, and this I use mostly. So in advanced setting, whenever you go for a button in advanced setting, you have this disable on invalid forms. So what does this does? So unless you enter all the details, this button remains disabled. So this just with this setting, and you can get all this functionality. So this is really cool, and I use modes.
Very cool.
Once all the details are entered, you can have this. And I go ahead and just book this 101 room. And you see 101 room will no longer be available. Okay, so I will explain the logic behind this. So I have the schemas. Okay, sure. Yeah. So already have the schemas for room details, room booking details, review details. So whatever that data that you see on the admin application comes through the schema, and all this schemas, this fields, whatever the fields that I need to store in the schema. For room details, I store room number, room type, number of person, and the cost. And I enable this stored data in database so that I can retrieve these fields.
Gotcha. Very cool. And what, did you build an admin screen to add the rooms then?
Oh yes, we have the admin section where you can add the room or you can delete a room, and that will directly reflect on the user application.
Right.
So okay, how do I get this available rooms over here? And now I see 101 room is booked, and that room is no longer available. So what I did is, I first of all I get the all the room details that are available. So I have room 101 to 115. I get these room details. Then the next part is I get details for the booking that are bookings, total bookings done on that date. So for 13th of for today, I see the 101 room is booked. So what I do, I just subtract uh, the today's booking room from all the rooms, and that's how I get the available room over here. So I get the room details, I get the booking details, and then I have one data workflow just to filter out with the date. So I filter out the booking details with this date. I get these booking details. I get all the room details that are available, and I just filter out what rooms are booked for that particular date, and
Yep.
that's how I get my available rooms
Very
dynamically for every date. Now, if I go to the next date, I can see all those rooms are available, and if I come to my today date, 101 is not available because that room is booked.
cool. Hmm.
So this is how I manage through simple data workflow.
Very slick.
And again, there is a once I do the booking, there's an email functionality. So you send an email. So I received this email with the room details and the booking details. Yeah. So this is the SendGrid service that we use
Hmm.
with some mappings like email from subject and whatever the message that we have. Okay. So maybe let's go to the next page. That's reviews page. Now let me open up this page too. Yes. So I've used the free from grid over here to add a review. So this page is for adding the reviews and to see what user says. So the previous reviews you can see, and you can add the new reviews. So
Hmm.
user can. So I've used the free from git, and now it comes with them three options. So we can show it as an accordion, we can show it as a model, or we can show it as a sidebar. I have selected sidebar, so I can see this comes the
Very cool.
edit review functionality comes in the sidebar. And for summary view, I have title, rating, and comment, the one that I hear. So I can review an individual part of the result. I have the functionality to reset the rating,
Hmm.
and as well as add comment.
So I think so. First off, I think I remember now. You were the one who used all three grids. So we've now seen the uniform, the dynamic, and the freeform. So that definitely
Yes.
was a big boost for you. If I recall, during the hackathon showcase we did a few weeks ago, there was a question in the chat about how you did the stars.
Yes. Yes.
So let's
Yes.
talk to us more about how you did that.
Yes. I'm gonna come to that part
I'm sorry,
wise.
I keep asking questions. I know I should just know that you got this covered. You're a pro.
Okay. So okay. So you see the stars over here, and so once I click on this, you see the stars get in yellow, and so that means you have given the rating, right?
Hmm.
The how we see traditional rating part on any website, right? So let's jump into this config. So basically, these are nothing but these are simple buttons where I have used the icon, font awesome icon for star, and these are all the buttons. So I have these are 5 different buttons, and the one that you see in the yellow, these are the HTML element, and this is again the font awesome star icon.
Okay.
So what I do, so whenever I click on this button, I have a rule with what it does. So whenever I click on, suppose if I click on the 3, it has the rating value 3, and it shows this 3 stars, as this makes as 3 star visible and hide all other star. So it's a play of hide and visibling these things, either buttons or the HTML stars. So that's, yeah, this is all you see. The this I've made this visible. Okay, this is rule reset rating. This is all about hiding and
Right.
visibling the stars, yeah,
Very
as
cool.
per I give rating. Yeah.
Very, very cool. I like it.
And yeah, whenever I reset it, I again make these stars. Yes. So I make that HTML hide, and I made these star buttons visible.
Very slick.
Yes.
And then how are you storing? And then are you outputting the value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? I think I might have seen 2 to know not how many stars.
Yes. So with the same, whenever I'm hiding and visiting, I give the value to the rating, and this rating values I stored and I use this in a schema.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is what I see. Again, this is nothing but just printing the values that's in the rating.
Right.
And now here, so I can submit multiple reviews at the same time. So like I can,
Very cool pool. Like a good rhyme.
yeah, and whenever I submit this review, so this reviews got added, and we clear this. So for this, I have used for loop snippet again. This is available in the snippet. It's for loop. So this snippet you can use and modify it as you want.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you can also group it. So if there are multiple operators and you see the data workflow is completely overloaded, at that time you can group like this, and you can make visibility of the data workflow much more
Right.
prettier.
Nice.
Yes. So it can be also done with, you can just select with this control and control G for me. This is how this grouping is done.
Yep. Yeah, I think grouping and writing labels in data workflows are important because
Yes.
they're very powerful, so they can get very big, right?
Yes. So there is a loop. So I have an iterator, so which starts with 0. Then I just check with the size of the input. So I have 2 reviews. I will check this size. If if this is less, then I will just get the current row. I'll store it in the current row, and I will call to the plugin that will make a submission to the review schema, and then I will come again back to this. I will just increase the value of iterator, and I will come back again to this, the same data workflow.
Right.
I will call. So this goes in the loop till all the entries are made, and once all the entries are made, so in this init end loop, so I get the reviews, so that the whatever the reviews that we have submitted, that we fetch and we update this review table over here, and then we just show the message that review is added. So this is again this is a very simple way. So you can use the type as a pop message, and whatever you add it over here, so that gets, so you don't need to create a complete panel, create a HTML inside that. So you can directly just use the pop message and give the text, and that's it, all set.
Would you be cool in trying some live config? Because I got an idea for you.
Yeah, we can try.
All right. Can you calculate for me the average star rating per type of review? So, like, what is the average rating of all the pool reviews? What is the average rating of all the resort reviews?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to know the average star rating across all reviews by type of review.
Well, maybe let's go with one example for now. And suppose let's go with the resort.
Oh, looks like we gotta fix the scroll bars on Windows machines. I've never seen Uncork. Well, I've seen on demos like this Uncork on a Windows machine. Very different
Okay.
Mac.
We'll just have the console for debugging.
Yeah, we just need to console it. We don't need to show it. Look at this. This is why you're a power user. You know the nodes that you need before you even fill out what they do, right? Some people may work, add a node, then configure it, then add another node, then configure it, and you're just like, I know exactly what I need. I'll come back and configure them later.
Yeah, so the basic logic is here. So I'll take this, all the reviews. I will just take this, whatever I need to filter out.
Yep.
So suppose we are looking for resort. So I'll just take this resort over here, filter out. I will pick up the rating part and I will just do the aggregate. And that's how we get.
Cool.
Started. This started. So just
All right, we don't need to finish it, but this is the logic. Yeah, I think that's just why people see how you use the logic. I mean, looking at your config, it's going to work. So the way you've been able to config, so cool. All right. That's all I wanted to see if you can see how you would do it live, and I got you. Good stuff.
The next page is get details page, and here, so we can just add the person name, phone number, email address, and get the details over the mail. So you get the email like this. So whatever, hello, the current username. So whatever that we have entered over there, and explanation of all the packages, the 1 day package as well as stay package and everything. So you will receive an email whenever you get these details. And, okay, so I just format the message that I want in the way with simple concatenations.
Mm-hmm.
Let me show you that one. So in this plugin, so I send content as a final message. And how do I create this final message? I have some concatenations. So like I concatenate the current name, that whatever the date we take from the form, hello, the name. So that's what you see, this hello Shiv over here. And the next part is concatenating the message, because the message is gonna be the same all the time. So I've already formatted this and saved it to an hidden field, and that I will concatenate this with this message, and this will be my final message that I will be sending throughout the mail.
Very cool.
So this, yeah, this is all on the user application.
Excellent. One thing I noticed, so if back in your config, you've got, looks like you have the header and the footer on each module, right?
Yes.
Like is there a reason that you didn't use the header and footer modules, like that functionality?
Uh, there was one challenge that at that time while I was doing, because our training environment is completely overloaded with multiple modules, so I cannot just import that modules. I was
Got it.
facing a challenge to
Yeah.
import, and there was one more reason. So I wanted to have this, the one that you see the highlighted part, that whenever I go to the page, that the border and the styling gets highlighted, that indicates that we are currently on the home page.
I see.
So that's where I apply the active header CSS. So when I'm on the inquiry page, I apply the active header to this one, and I get that style for that particular page.
Gotcha.
So those are the two main reasons.
Gotcha. Cool. Makes sense. Yeah, a lot of stuff in the training environment. There's a lot of folks in there.
Yes, yes.
A lot of folks. A lot of people getting trained. Thousands and thousands of Uncork creators out there using our training environment to learn how to build codeless applications.
Yeah, definitely. I use a lot. So if you see my workspace is
Yeah. Cool.
fully packed. Yeah, this is on the user application, and the admin application is the same. So I've also used the wave grid apart from all the three name grids. And so these are the room details. So uh, let's do a thing. So I will just delete this room one. Okay, I will just add one new room, maybe 116. Let's go to a stay package. Let's go for tomorrow's date, maybe. And you see 101 to 115. We have rooms from 101 to 115.
Yeah.
I just add room 116, maybe standard for 2 person, $50. And I see an entry over in the admin application. Now I don't even refresh the page. I just change the date, and I see the new room is available for all the dates. You see 116.
Yeah. Awesome.
So this both the application, admin application and the user application are in sync, and whenever there is an update, so it reflects on the other application too. So suppose if I delete this room again and go back and change date, I see 116 is no longer available.
Slick. Very slick. You thought of it all: front end, back end, admin pages, user pages, fully functional. Where is the happy hours resort? Where would you
So
place
this
it? You really opened it up. Where is it?
uh so actually I came up with an idea because our team went for an outing. So where I was taking a charge of booking our resort and looking for the resort and a place where we can go for the outing. So that's where idea came into the picture, and I built this with. So I was looking through the web, and I find websites, but not the web application. So
Right.
website you already have the static stuff. So you cannot do the booking from there. So
Yeah.
that's where why not make it? And there was a hackathon, so I used that
Cool.
opportunity.
That's a great way to get to this result and solving real world problems. Because I know if you work for Mars, we're probably doing a lot of insurance, and we have a lot of clients who are in insurance financial services. But I love that this just shows that hey, Uncork can build a booking application too, right? Why not? We have all the
Yes.
capabilities for really any use case. Excellent. Cool. Was there anything else you wanted to show us? That was a lot.
There's a lot, but how much time do we have left?
Yeah. Let's say if there's one more thing to show, if you got one more thing, let's show that, and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay, so I'll just walk you through what functionalities that comes with this dynamic grid.
Yeah. Great.
So now you see the all the rooms that are available. First is you can sort it out the rooms based on anything, based on whatever you like, room number, room type, anything. The what I like is the grouping. So you have this grouping functionality. So suppose if I'm looking for two persons, right? I'm looking for a room for two-person, and
Yeah.
based on the room type, so I can just drag these two columns and I see all the data get sorted. So for two persons, I can see there are three different types of rooms, and I can also see the numbers. So there are three rooms that are available in standard. So
Mm-hmm.
this will be exact. This will be easier to find exactly what we are looking for. So this grouping we can use it. And there is an advanced filter too. So like for the cost, suppose if I'm looking, so there are multiple options available here, and these are all pre-built functionalities. I don't need to do any extra configuration for this. So this is perfectly suitable for my use case at least.
Yeah.
So I can suppose if I'm looking something in range for suppose 120 to $200, I can just have this filter, and yeah, you see the all the data gets arranged accordingly.
Yeah.
So you see all the rooms that are in between this range 120 to 200.
Yeah.
You have an option to reset. You have an option for and or functionalities as well. Suppose if I'm looking for room types only for suppose deluxe or suite, so I can select that one filter too. So
Mm-hmm.
this is like a Excel functionality that you see.
Yeah.
This comes with the dynamic grid.
Yeah. No, that's great, and it's also you could tell that it's aware of the type, right? So in the room type, it was a
Yes.
string, so it lets you pick between the options, and the
Yes.
cost, it was a number, so then you get number related sorting and filtering. That's a
Yes.
lot of functionality just like that, huh?
Yes. And whenever you go, so for this, let's go to yeah, to get the dynamic data. So means like um, so I have selected 115 room for
Mm-hmm.
15 date. So how
Yeah.
do I get this particular data on the clicking of book? So I get with this kind of uh, annotation that we use here. So dynamic grid row. Now we use hash to be dynamic. Whatever the button that or whatever the action that we select, so
Yep.
that row gets related. and the column that I want. So I want room number, so I get that as an alias, and I can store it into my fields whatever I want, and then I can manipulate it as I want it. So I pre-populate this on the form. If you see,
Yeah,
it's this room and select it, and then you can use this.
perfect. Very cool. So you used our grids to the best of the ability. And again, folks, that was the prompt for the hackathon was the grids, and you nailed them, all three of them. That was definitely a big reason you made it as a finalist. So very cool. Well, this was awesome, Shivkumar. Thank you so much for walking us through this app, showing people, you're getting people to think outside the box. I think you really thought outside of the box with this application that you built here. And I love this story that you actually were booking a real resort as you had the idea. I mean, I feel like it's the beautiful thing about Uncork, right? Like you see a problem in your daily life, and then you go to Uncork to figure out how to solve it. It's a real great way to ideate kind of things you can build. So cool. Well, thank you again. I really hope we're going to have another hackathon soon, I'm sure. And I hope you participate again, because it's obvious we're going to get some really cool work out of you. Anything you want to say to your fans out there before we sign off today?
Yeah. So just keep practicing more than what you do. Maybe just get out of this workflow and data workflow. Go and check out the UDLC toolkit, the administration. There are multiple functionalities that are available in the UDLC toolkit too. So you can explore this one. And I will say be active on the Uncork community. So there you can find the different challenges, different queries, and try to solve this, and you will get different ways to implement one particular functionalities. That's how I learned the Uncork, and that's how I mastered.
Yeah.
I'd say how much I learned it today. That's
Cool.
because of this.
Well, yeah, you're definitely a master, and we'll get you a master certification at some point. I'm sure if we ever have it up there, you'll nail it, no problem.
I'm still learning, but
yeah, look, we always are, right? I've been working on the Uncork platform for over 4 years, and I still learn something new every time I play around with it, and that's what we should do. We should always be looking to learn and grow and get better at what we do. So you have the right mentality. It shows in terms of how much you've been able to learn about the platform and the kinds of things. Because I think I read in the Power User Spotlight about this hackathon, this took you less than 8 hours to build all of that.
Yes.
Right.
As I told, I've used multiple snippets that really boost up the process and the grades with this functionalities. I don't have much to do, so I have all my requirements set and gone in the show.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. You built an entire resort website with an admin page in a day. That's impressive in any technology. Super impressive in Uncork. Thank you so much again for participating in the hackathon. Thank you so much for taking more time to come on and talk to us more about your application. Wish you all the best with your work for your day job, and also for all the fun stuff I'm sure you're going to create on the side. So thanks again.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.